And the Lions continue their success away from home. Will the Cowboys and Bill Parcells turn things around after a frustrating 3-game stretch?
This is certainly the low point for me in my tenure here in Dallas, without question.
Hey, don't worry about the scoreboard.
Don't worry.
Just sell out for 60 minutes. 4 quarters. The scoreboard will tell itself in the end. Let's go now, please.
Fox Sports welcomes you to Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, Week 8 in the National Football League. The Dallas Cowboys host the surprising Detroit Lions. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the NFL on Fox. I'm Kenny Albert, along with Darryl Johnston. Two teams heading in opposite directions. The Lions 4-2, the Cowboys 2-4. Now, Detroit perfect on the road so far this season, and their head coach, Steve Mariucci, told us last night, we've been steady, we've been solid, we do not beat ourselves.
They have functioned very well as a team, all 3 phases, offense, defense, and kicking game. The defense is the strength of the team. They shut people down, and they take the ball away. Their kicking game has generated some big plays already this season, and offensively, they're very efficient when they get into the red zone. They get touchdowns, they don't kick field goals, and on top of that, they don't turn the ball over. As you pointed out, they don't beat themselves. You're going to have to beat the Detroit Lions.
Now, the Dallas Cowboys started the season 2-1, but they've lost 3 in a row, and head coach Bill Parcells not happy with the play of his defensive unit last week. What do the Cowboys need to do to turn things around today?
Well, they're in a little bit of a dilemma today because I'm sure they'd like to stay with the philosophy that he started the season with, and that's kind of lean on Vinny Testaverde in the passing game. But the defense has not played well enough to do that. They've got injuries at the wide receiver spot with Terry Glenn out and Quincy Morgan out. He'd like to get back to what made them successful last year, running the football, taking time off the clock, and keeping the defense off the field. And if he's going to be successful doing that, there's a big matchup down in the trenches that I know Tony Saragoose is going to be watching this afternoon.
Moose, you are definitely right. You got Shawn Rogers, who has 4 sacks of the 22 of the Detroit's defense. This guy puts a lot of pressure on a quarterback, but in front of him, he's got one of the greatest who I've got a pleasure to play against, and I know who's going to come down and prepared for this game, for the matchup in Larry Allen. I'm excited to see this matchup, and I'll let you know how it unravels as the game goes on.
All right, Tony, who will put up big numbers today for the Cowboys and Lions? There is still time to select your singular fantasy football team for this week. Text message 63504 on your singular wireless phone or vote on foxsports.com.
You're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting at 720.
Welcome back to Texas Stadium. Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Saragusa. Bad news for the Lions. There is Roy Williams, the all-time leading receiver at the University of Texas, who has gotten off to an outstanding start this season. Darryl, he will not play today.
That's going to be a big loss for the Detroit Lions. You see the thumbs down right there just about a half an hour ago. And what happened last week, the Giants, a similar situation. But Roy Williams was able to play last week. He got a touchdown early in the first quarter. He was productive throughout the game. He is the spark for that offense right now. He is going to be missed big time this afternoon.
Eddie Drummond has done a terrific job on special teams. Lions lead the NFL in kickoff return yardage. Lions have won the toss, and Drummond takes it out from the 9. Eddie Drummond out across the 25. Brought down by Keith Davis after a return of 16 yards. So the Lions perfect on the road, 3-0. Road victories in Chicago, Atlanta, and last week over the New York Giants. Joey Harrington had the best game of his 3-year NFL career against the Giants last Sunday, completed 18 of 22 pass attempts.
And the big thing was he got off to a really good start, and I think that's key for Joey Harrington. If he struggles early, he can struggle throughout the game, but if you let him get momentum early in the game and he comes out and hits some passes, he's going to play well all day.
Play action, complete, Ty Streets, the ex-49er, out to the 31-yard line. As we take a look at the men protecting Joey Harrington, Raiola in the middle, Woody, the longtime New England Patriot. Az-Zahir Hakim returns, missed last week's game with an ankle injury. He and Ty Streets, the starting wide receivers, in the absence of Williams and Charles Rogers. Dat Wynn, Cowboys linebacker, shaken up on the first play from scrimmage.
That win number 59 right there. Looks like he went in at an awkward angle into the turf. He's on his back with his arms crossed right now. So hopefully nothing serious for Datwin, and hopefully he'll be able to get back into the football game this afternoon.
Cowboys leading tackler this season.
NFL Sundays brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
Welcome back. You're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in 720p and Dolby 5.1, the world's finest high-definition standard. Keith O'Neill replaces Datwin, his father Ed, a former first-round draft pick of the Detroit Lions, as Kevin Jones picks up the first down and more, finally forced back after a gain of 12. As we check out the Cowboys defensively, ranked 25th in the league this season. They were the top-ranked defense last year. Greg Ellis leading the way up front with 6 sacks. Linebackers Coakley, Wynn, who went out moments ago, and the former Buccaneers Singleton. Roy Williams
Right here.
went to his first Pro Bowl last season. 1st and 10 from the 43. And this is Jones. Takes it up across midfield. A gain of 7 brought down by Dexter Coakley.
Well, the big change in the Dallas defense from last year to this year is they're not able to blitz. They've never been able to generate a lot of pressure with their down 4. So they've supplemented that with a heavy dose of blitz. They can't do that this year. Number 1, the injury to Darren Woodson. Number 2, Terrence Newman is not playing at the level he did last year. Now, that has forced Roy Williams to go back and play more coverage and not be able to get down in the box. So a number of reasons just kind of that have snowballed on the Dallas defense all year.
Harrington on 2nd and 3 puts it up for Az-Zahir Hakim, who takes it all the way down inside the 15, down to the 11-yard line, a 39-yard pass play.
And at the end of this catch, number 37, Tyrone Williams, is going to come up lame with a hamstring, too. You'll see he's going to pull up right there. Lynn Scott, number 38, comes across, makes a touchdown-saving tackle, but they've lost Datwin on the first play, and I think they just lost Tyrone Williams. He's limping off the field right now with a bad hamstring.
So Nathan Jones, the rookie out of Rutgers, in to replace the right quarterback, Tyrone Williams. Cowboys have lost 2 starters from their defense during this opening drive. Harrington with loads of time. And Stephen Alexander, the tight end, takes it down to the 1.
Joey Harrington has got confidence right now. He has started the game very similar to how he started the game last week against the New York Giants. Hit some short passes here, then he gets the long one to Az-Zahir Hakim. But that throw right there to Stephen Alexander, it was a nice play fake, but there was some tight coverage. Joey Harrington now has the confidence that he can fit the ball into the tight spaces.
That win back in the game for Dallas. Alexander picked up the first down on that last play, so it's 1st and goal from the 1.
Kevin Jones trying to go up and over the top. You have to have penetration right there. Al Singleton gets in. He's the guy that forces the issue, gets him to go up, but there's Datwin just back into the game, making sure that Kevin Jones can't wiggle his way into the end zone.
Lions again without their starting fullback, Corey Schlesinger, so Stephen Trejo in the backfield with Kevin Jones. To the end zone, touchdown. It's Jones, who scored his first rushing touchdown of the NFL last week, scoring his first receiving touchdown as the Lions strike early.
They made that look very easy on that play right there. Just a little play fake, and Kevin Jones gets right out into the flat, and he is open immediately. You see right here, he's going to go out into the flat. They got Roy Williams, number 31, coming all the way from the inside out. He has him outflanked by lineup and just couldn't get there. That was speed versus speed, but he won that route in his lineup.
What a series for the Lions to start things out today. Harrington perfect, 4 for 4. Jones 19 yards on the ground and scores the game's first touchdown. Hansen adds the point after 4 minutes gone by. 7-0 Lions.
Crisp, because it's fresh.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time.
The Lions are in a brown set. Now, normally you would be on the tackle right there, but look at how much farther out Kevin Jones is. He's just going to come right on the flat. You get Roy Williams to bite for a second, and now he's chasing the entire way. But by alignment, you should have known, there should have been a pre-snap read that he was taking a wide alignment to be able to get out into the flat a little bit quicker. Kevin Jones beat Roy Williams simply by his alignment on that play.
Hansen's kickoff taken out of the end zone by Rashard Lee. And Lee is upended 3 yards shy of the 20-yard line after an 18-yard return. Good start for Detroit on the road again. Cowboys go to work for the first time this afternoon, trailing the Lions 7-0. Bill Parcells, for the most part, happy with his offense. He feels they've moved the ball well, but they have not been in good field position because his defense has not created many turnovers. Testaverde to the air, complete to the tight end, Jason Witten on first down. So for the 7th consecutive game, Darryl, the Cowboys open up the game with a pass play.
Well, he wanted to play to the strength of Vinny Testaverde, you see right there. That is because of longevity in the NFL. So let's not dogpile Vinny Testaverde. 18 years, you're going to have some losses, especially when you start out in Tampa Bay for a long stretch of your career. But yeah, he just has felt that his best opportunities were going to be in the passing game, and that's what the dilemma we're talking about is. Does he have the firepower to try to attack this Detroit secondary?
2nd down and 2. Eddie George stopped shy of the marker, and the guy whose record he surpassed is in the Hall of Fame, Fran Tarkenton, who lost 109. As we take a look at the Dallas offensive line, the strength, of course, on the left side with Flozell Adams and the 8-time Pro Bowler Larry Allen. George with Barnes in the backfield. Randall Williams gets the start opposite Keyshawn Johnson in the absence of both Terry Glenn and Quincy Morgan. Terry Glenn placed on injured reserve yesterday. He's out for the season. And Morgan, who made his Cowboys debut last week, sprained his hamstring in that game. 3rd down and 1. Eddie George picks up the first out across the 30-yard line.
And this is the style that Bill Parcells wants to play. He opened with a pass, but it was a high percentage pass with some movement. He wants to get into these 3rd and shorts, take time off the clock, keep that defense off the field, and you can see he's justified in his concern by their performance on that opening drive. They let Detroit go right down the field for a touchdown.
You know, who's playing with Eddie George against him a bunch of times. That's a guy who needs to get the ball early in the game to get his momentum going and gain some confidence. He's a lot better runner as he gets the ball more and more.
From the 30, play action. Testaverde with time, complete to George. And he's knocked out of bounds after a gain of 7 by Dre Bly.
The Dallas passing game is based on getting receivers into tiers. They'll have somebody deep, somebody in the middle range, and then somebody short. Now, what Detroit wants to do, they're going to cover the deep guy and the medium guy, and they're going to test the patience of the Cowboy passing game. Are you willing to dump the ball off into the flat? Can you execute time after time in that situation? Because we are not going to allow you to get one over our head or get a big 15 to 20-yard chunk.
I'm right here.
2nd down and 4. Here's George. And Tony, getting back to what you were saying, his average per carry throughout his career, the lowest among every running back who's gone for over 10,000, but I guess he just wears you out.
He does. He's big. He's a strong runner. You got to hit him and keep hitting him. I mean, his size just, you can't arm tackle a guy like Eddie George. But one thing that you want to do, you don't want to let him get started. Like I said, he needs a couple good runs in the beginning of the game to get going. And that's when he's most effective.
You had to look at the Lions defense, and Their front four off to an outstanding start. Only the Philadelphia Eagles have more sacks this season
Right here now.
than the
Right
Detroit Lions.
Yeah, but they generate most of their sacks with those guys up front.
From the 41, the pitch to Eddie George. Turns the corner and is wrestled out of bounds after a gain of just 2 by Earl Holmes.
And that's not the strength of Eddie George, running wide on the perimeter. He does not expand the field. He is at his best when he is from tight end to tight end, getting downhill, getting him play side, allowing him to cut back. If you can get him into a situation where you are stringing him out to the sideline, you're going to be very effective defending Eddie George.
Yeah, they were almost slow playing him on that one, Moose, not giving him the cutback lanes that he's looking for, but he was looking backside.
Yeah, he wants to plant and cut and get back to the inside. He does not want to be forced all the way to the sideline.
Guys, Dre Bly shaken up, headed to the Lions sidelines, replaced by Keith Smith. 3 wide receivers set, 2nd down and 7. Inside handoff, Richie Anderson out to the 46-yard line, gain of 2.
That's one of the options that the Cowboys will have, trying to find a way to move the ball on this defense, whether they're going to screen, whether they're going to draw. They have to do something to slow down that defensive front four of the Detroit Lions, and they have a great rotation. They'll be bringing guys in and out, and all these guys contribute. All the starters that have played this year in that rotation at some time have a sack to their credit this season.
You saw Sean Rogers, who has already tied his career high with 4 sacks. Cowboys have to get to the Lions 49 for a first down. Testaverde on 3rd and 6, complete to the tight end, Witten, who had a huge game against the Green Bay Packers last Sunday, and he picks up 12 yards and the first.
Well, before Vinny Testaverde could get the ball out to Jason Witten, we'll go back and take a look at this matchup, Sean Rogers and Larry Allen, and that's what your center is supposed to do. Al Johnson comes over, gives him a little bit of help when he has the time, but Jason Witten is really starting to emerge as one of the top tight ends in the NFL, and with the injuries to the wide receivers that the Cowboys have, he becomes even a more viable guy. He has the ability to stretch the field. He had a big touchdown catch down the field against Green Bay last week. He is not just an underneath control type guy at that tight end position.
From the 43, Eddie George. Do you have flashbacks to Jay Novacek when you watch what Witten has done the last couple of weeks?
No, Jay was special. Jay to me, when you talk to coaches that had to defend our team, they always said that Jay Novacek never got the credit. Now, Jason's a bigger guy. He's a better blocker. He may be better all around than Jay Novacek. Jay was a very effective blocker, but down the field, in the passing game, I've never seen anybody that could run routes as well as Jay Novacek. And Darren Woodson actually said, you know, I think that I am the cover guy I am because I always had to cover Jay Novacek in training camp, and I never faced anybody that could run routes as well as him.
Empty backfield. Cowboys spread it out on 2nd and 6. And the pass is to the tight end, Witten, once again. And he picks up another Dallas first down, his 3rd reception of this drive.
The good thing about Jason Witten is you can move him around a lot. You know, they'll have him in motion, they'll split him out. He can be at the traditional tight end spot. He can be a wing. So not only is he a threat in the passing game, but then also because of the formations that Dallas uses and the flexibility that he has in lining up, he can create that mismatch or that opportunity all across the board in the offensive set.
Like Joey Harrington, Vinny Testaverde has started this game 4 for 4. Randall Williams in motion from the 31. Eddie George up the middle. Gain of 3 down to the 28-yard line.
I think Bill Parcells has to be happy as this drive has started out for his offense, because what they're doing, it's high percentage passes, nothing risky down the field to get into a 2nd and long, where all of a sudden now you're forced to pass, or you have a running situation that puts you in a 3rd and long. They're taking time off the clock. They're getting into a lot of manageable 3rd downs and extending this drive and continuing to take time off the clock.
And they've already taken 7.5 minutes off the clock during this drive.
Now all he has to do is get his defense to play a little bit better after they get rested.
2nd down and 7. Over the middle. Complete again to the tight end, Witten. His 4th catch. Vinny is 5 for 5, and Witten is close to another first down.
And what we're seeing is the Dallas Cowboys attacking this zone scheme that Dick Duran runs. They don't do anything fancy. They're not going to bring a lot of pressure. They rely on the down linemen to get the pressure. If they blitz, it's a +1 situation with a linebacker or somebody from the secondary. Now, if Dallas can protect, that's going to allow them to be able to exploit all these holes in the zone coverages that Detroit plays. Jason Witten is doing a real good job right now, finding all those little voids in the defensive coverages.
You know, Sean Rogers right there just went up against Larry Allen. He's trying to make him look, it looks like he's trying to make his feet move a little bit. Larry Allen's feet move. Sean's very athletic. They're doing a good job. Al Johnson's doing a great job at center and taking away the inside move.
Hey, Tony, you said you got to play against Larry Allen. What is his first punch like? Because a lot of people say, you know, that those first, if you can survive that initial contact from Larry Allen, they say it's like a great white shark when he hits a seal. You know, it's that huge blow at the very beginning. If you can kind of nullify that or not take a direct hit, and you've got a shot to get around it.
Yeah, Moose, you do not want to give your chest up to that guy. He's got 2 cannons of arms, and if them hands hit you in the chest, you're going to feel it. It's going to knock the wind out of you.
Eddie George inside the 15. Down to the 13-yard line, a gain of 7 as we say hello for the first time today to James Brown in Los Angeles. JB.
Hey, Kenny Albert, a 38-yard pass interference call on Minnesota gave them the ball just outside the red zone. The New York Giants' Tiki Barber, his 6th total touchdown of the season. That a 2-yard run. 10-0 Giants. Back to Kenny, Darrell, and Tony.
All right, JB, and the Lions did a good job against the Giants last week, defeating New York 28-13.
They took the ball away from the team who hadn't really given it up very much. So you know they can do that. Somehow Detroit is very adept at taking the ball away from their opponents.
Here's Eddie George. Tried to cut it back inside and then is hit back at the 17-yard line by Earl Holmes. A loss of 3 on the play.
Nice job again by the Detroit defensive line in penetrating and not allowing Eddie George with the cutback. I mean, they're pursuing down the line really well. On that play, Larry Allen tried to cut Sean Rogers. Sean went right over it and nullified the cutback there.
Yeah, you mentioned that he's so athletic. If you're going to cut a guy like Sean Rogers, you have got to get into his thigh and take him down. If you get anywhere down near his ankles, he's so athletic for a big guy that he's just going to sidestep you or hop over you.
The 15th play of this drive coming up. 3rd down and 6. Testaverde over the middle. Witten, touchdown.
Jason Witten, your tight end right there. He does a good job on his release, gets upfield, and then right there, he gets Bracy Walker to move just a little bit to the outside, and he breaks it across. Vinny Testaverde, look at that. He gets it through Sean Rogers' arms and then fits it into a very small spot down the field. A nice route by Jason Witten, but a real nice job on the release from the line of scrimmage.
Just what the Cowboys wanted to do. A 10-minute drive, 15 plays, and they have tied this game at 7. Witten with 5 catches during that Cowboy drive.
Faster XLFL Sundays brought to you by Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. By Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. Eating good in the neighborhood. Applebee's. By Zales, the Diamond Store. And by new M3 Power from Gillette. Feel the power of the world's best shave.
Cowboys fans excited, exactly what Bill Parcells wanted to do. Eddie George or Jason Witten touched the ball on 14 out of the 15 plays during that Dallas drive.
Well, they've been very good on their opening drives during the course of the season up to this point. That shows the preparation during the week, but they've got to continue. They've got to build off that momentum.
Eddie Drummond lost the football momentarily and is unable to bring it back to the 20. Only a 10-yard return by Drummond. Witten into the end zone for the Cowboys. Late first quarter, 7-7 here in Dallas. Both quarterbacks perfect so far. Both teams scored touchdowns on their opening drive.
The big question now, what does the Dallas defense do in response to that impressive drive by the offense? They got a break from Detroit. Eddie Drummond bobbled the kickoff. They're pinned back deep. Can they come in, force a 3-and-out, and finally give the Dallas offense a manageable field, a short field compared to what they've had all season?
The Lions start from their own 17-yard line, and Kevin Jones gaining 2 up to the 19. Leonardo Carson made the tackle.
Kevin Jones, a big spark on that opening drive. Joey Harrington said he was the difference in the second half last week against the Giants. He had a couple of 20-plus yard runs, and he's starting to come back from an angle that's not 100%. But you saw in that opening drive, Kevin Jones has the ability, and what I like that he's doing now, he's not looking to bounce everything. He's running much better in between the tackles.
And Jones, a guy Dallas had the opportunity to select in the first round. They did not. Harrington swings it out to the fullback, Trejo. And he is forced out of bounds at the 26 after picking up 7. Tyrone Williams, Cowboys starting right corner, who was brought in about a month ago after Pete Hunter was placed on IR. His return is questionable due to that hamstring injury suffered on the 39-yard reception by Az-Zahir Hakim earlier.
And while Tony's watching Larry Allen and Sean Rogers in the other matchups, I'm going to keep an eye on Roy Williams, see how often he's allowed down in the box now because of the injury there. Now they've got another corner who's not experienced. Roy's going to have to probably play more deep half coverage this afternoon.
Harrington on 3rd and 1, intended for Ty Streets. Terrence Newman on the coverage. So the Lions do go 3-and-out. They will punt. When we come back, first quarter has come to an end. A 15-play drive by the Cowboys to tie this game at 7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages.
Have you finished your report?
Yeah, but we need a way faster connection.
Get that faster connection with SBC Yahoo DSL for $26.95 a month and get 4 tickets to The Incredibles, a Disney presentation of a Pixar film.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Chevy is the right truck. No one has more SUV choices, period. And right now, get the right deal on the right SUV during Chevy Right Truck event. Now get $6,000 total cash back with GMAC financing on the 2004 Trailblazer. Hurry, the Chevy Right Truck event ends November 1st. See your Texas Chevy dealer.
Stephen Trejo went down on that last play with Corey Schlesinger out. That's going to affect Detroit's running game. They're going to have to bring Casey Fitzsimmons, at tight end, in the backfield to be able to run the traditional 2-back running plays that they have in this offense. So a situation on that last drive, if Stephen Trejo can't come back, a big adjustment for the Lions in their running game.
Life is a journey. A road that can take...
Sunday is brought to you by Ford. 6 all-new vehicles, each built for the road ahead. By Coors Light, the coldest tasting beer in the world. Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 39. By HP, services and technology help companies face, manage, and love change. And by Singular Wireless.
Well, the Cowboys with a 10-minute drive, and then their defense held the Lions, forced them to punt after the 3-and-out.
Didn't generate a turnover anywhere yet, but they've created good field position through the combination of their defensive play and special teams.
On first down, Ricky Anderson, gain of just 1. Dan Wilkinson, the tackle, as we check in once again with JB.
Hey, Kenny, Willis McGahee in Buffalo paying dividends. 5 rushes for 54 yards in the first quarter, including this scamper to pay dirt. Hey, Kenny, believe it or not, it was his and Buffalo's first rushing touchdown of the season. Buffalo up 10-0 over Arizona. Back to Kenny, Darrell, and Tony.
Yeah, JB, I know that was Buffalo's first rushing touchdown because I have Travis Henry in one of my fantasy leagues, and I have gotten nothing up until this point.
Right here.
Your hometown Bills not cooperating.
No.
Second down and 9. Anderson looks to bounce it outside, and he's tackled back at the 30.
There is the disruption of Sean Rogers, number 92. He is the guy that stops his play. Flozell Adams is trying to pull. They're trying to block back on him, and he knocks Flozell off his path as the puller, comes down the line, and makes the tackle. There he is, right here in the middle of your screen. Look at him get upfield. He just clogs everything up. He hits the tackle. He hits the fullback. The running back has nowhere to go. He is a disruptive force inside.
Penetration, Moose, you know it'll kill an offense.
I tell you, if you're going to run that play, run it the other direction so you don't have to block back on Sean Rogers.
Cowboys have to get to the 45. Testaverde in trouble. He escapes and then fires out of bounds. But there is a flag. Our first penalty marker today.
Go back and look at this. The snap of the ball looked like they saw something happen. Nobody did anything.
Pete Morelli, our referee.
There is no foul on the play for illegal contact as the quarterback is out of the pocket. Fourth down.
You can have defensive holding when the quarterback gets out of the pocket, but you can't have illegal contact. And Dallas squanders a chance with good field position. This is a very strange play. Everybody up front's kind of going slow motion except for Brock Marion, number 31, who's blitzing off the defensive left side.
Brock Marion, the former Cowboy. Matt McBriar out to punt for the first time. End over end, Drummond. There's a flag. McBriar was knocked down after the punt. Question is, was it roughing the kicker or running into?
Well, it was a very late flag. The fans started to boo because there was not a flag thrown, so I'm thinking this is going to be running into.
Running into the kicker. Defense, 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
I tell you what, that is a huge break for the Cowboys, though, because Eddie Drummond had a great return to the Dallas side of the field. Kind of similar to what we had a couple weeks ago here. You've got to allow that punter to complete his motion and set his kick leg down. As he tries to come down, Brock Marion's there, and the official was weighing it. He threw the flag, so it's running into the kicker. It's only 5 yards, and Dallas will be forced to punt again. They have got to get down and cover the field. Eddie Drummond is as explosive a return guy as there is in the NFL right now. Dante Hall may be the only other guy that you could put in that class from Kansas City.
So Drummond's 30-yard return nullified, and he will get another opportunity here. McBriar punting from his own 25. Much better kick this time. Drummond backpedaling. And a fair catch. So that penalty costs the Lions about 35 yards.
I'm going to go with 43. 38 to midfield and 5 more.
What's called the frozen tundra. Painted
1 week from tonight on Fox.
There's a 5-yard penalty that just cost a 43-yard difference in field position. Eddie Drummond goes out on that first punt return about the 44 of Dallas. They now have the ball first and 10 at their own 13. That is some of the hidden yardage that coaches talk about all the time.
And Sean Bryson now in at fullback for the injured Stephen Trejo. Harrington incomplete, intended for Ty Streets.
That's going to put a big challenge to Detroit to maintain what they were doing with the running game in the first quarter. Because with a tailback playing the fullback position, that's going to be very difficult. And one of the options they can do, they can go to what everybody said Steve Mariucci and the 49ers did, was that short passing game kind of becomes what they're doing in the running game. And Ty Streets kind of lets one go through his hands right there. But what we might see now is a lot of this formation right here. 3 wide receivers, single backs, with a lot of high percentage short passes to simulate the running game.
This is Bryson. Penalty marker comes in, as Bryson is tackled by Roy Williams after a gain of just 3.
Dallas likes to match personnel groups, and Tom Rathman told us They would like to see if they'll continue to do that.
Holding. 51 of the offense. Half the distance to the goal, still second down.
That's the center, Raiola.
And what he said would be a big part of that is if we can get into the 3 wide receiver sets and the single back, and Dallas wants to match us defensively with a nickel package, we've got to be able to run the ball effectively out of a single back set. Now, here's another way that they can get their running game back on track with that injury to Stephen Trejo. Do more single back sets.
The Cowboys' run defense has been porous. They allow over 5 yards per carry, worst in the NFL.
That's an amazing stat because the Dallas defense has always prided themselves in stopping the run. It all starts with shutting down the run, forcing a team to be one-dimensional, and then kind of teeing off in the passing situations. They have not been able to stop the run this season.
Second down and 16, more flags.
Very uncharacteristic of the Detroit Lions right now. They're beating themselves with penalties.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 76, offense.
Left tackle Jeff Backus, so 3 Lions penalties in the last minute and a half. The key one called on Brock Marion on the punt, running into the kicker, and now 2 on their offensive line. There's running backs coach Tom Rathman.
He's going to have his hands full trying to figure out what direction they want to go in their running game. We talked about the 44-yard difference, 43-yard difference earlier. It's gone from 1st and 10 at the Dallas 44, now to 2nd and 19, all the way back to Detroit's 4-yard line.
Harrington out of the end zone. Some running room for Reggie Swinton. And the former Cowboy who caught a huge touchdown last week picks up 24 yards and a Lions first down as we check in once again with JB.
Hey, Kenny, Green Bay moving up and down the field nicely on Washington, capitalizing on a pass interference call as Ahman Green steps it across for the 1-yarder. It's 10-0 Packers over the Skins. Back to Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, and Tony Siragusa.
All right, JB. Lions just ahead of the Packers in the NFC North standings. A huge hit laid by Roy Williams on Ty Streets.
Let me tell you, you better know where number 31 is when you're running a slant.
I felt that hit down here, Daryl.
That was one of those hollow thuds that comes all the way up here in the booth. Man. They lost Roy Williams, the receiver for the Lions. They're lucky they didn't just lose Ty Streets right there. I don't think all the lights are on right now in that house. What day is it, Ty? Do you know what city you're in?
Well, he did pick up the first down.
Now, let's not forget about what Ty Streets was able to do after that big hit.
Able to hang on to the football. Now Kevin Jones is forced back. Ball came loose.
Forward progress was stopped.
You know, guys, Dallas is also doing a good job of, right now they are, of stopping the cutback also. They're doing a lot better pursuit to defensive line from when I'm watching.
They have always prided themselves on their pursuit to the ball. I mean, that is one of the things. This defense is built on speed. They're built on pursuit to the ball. And that was one of the things I think that was lacking last week against Green Bay.
Harrington incomplete. Intended for Reggie Swinton. And guys, we should point out, Ty Streets back in the game.
That's impressive because that was a huge hit. Mike Zimmer right there, the defensive coordinator, he had to do some adjustments this week with their performance against the Packers, and what they decided to do was simplify their packages. Roy Williams said that this is as basic as they have been since he's been a Cowboy. They've just gone to some cover 3, some cover 2. They might mix in a little zone blitz, but because of the youth and inexperience in some critical positions in the secondary, they had to really back off the scheme that they used for the first few weeks of the season.
Harrington calls timeout with the play clock winding down.
Detroit. First team timeout.
Third down and 10 coming up. Lions and Cowboys deadlocked at 7.
He's like a guide.
Fox is brought to you by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
I don't know that I would open the door and give him some candy.
No. If I'm looking through the people and I see that, I think I'm going to hold off. Now that guy might get some candy. That's a nice costume there. That's not a lot of effort put into those ones. I can't give them anything.
Lions have always had great strategy on Halloween, Darryl. They won their last 6 games on Halloween. Harrington in trouble. Stays on his feet. Can't find anyone downfield. And then throws it out of bounds with Leroy Glover and Eric Obagu in his face.
But Joey Harrington last year against Dallas had the worst performance of his career. And one of the things that he felt he took away from that game was not trying to press, being more efficient. And there's some evidence right there. He knows he's outside the pocket. He knows he can get rid of the football without being flagged. Don't try and create something that's not there and have a turnover, because Dallas has really struggled in taking the ball away from people. So stay away from the situations that are going to make it easier. Just throw it out of bounds, line up, and punt the football.
Patrick Creighton playing in his first NFL regular season game back deep for the Cowboys. Creighton takes it from the 13. Short gain out across the 15 for the 7th-round pick out of Northwest Oklahoma State. Cowboys offense coming up.
Special delivery, ladies.
Well, look who's here.
Got your fresh beer right here.
What do you got?
I got intentional taste mask. All American brewed beers are fresh. This guy's hiding something.
Illegal use of the hand truck. Distributing beer with less taste.
Place it with Miller Lite.
More taste.
Half the carbs.
You can't flag the king.
Right.
Okay, we got multiple penalties on Dan. Intentional
Miller.
face mask.
Good call.
Illegal use of the hand truck.
So what do you think, sweetie? See-through or red?
Forget the freezer. Get to Chili's for the new Mix and Match Grill. Salmon, steak, chicken, shrimp, or baby back ribs. Your choice of 2, all on one plate. Come on, live a little.
You think you're super bad? I ain't super bad.
You ain't got no game, brother!
This Halloween, let Radio Shack help keep your family safe and get 2 free 9-volt batteries for your smoke detector when you buy 2. And for the trick-or-treaters in your house, get a free Halloween safety flashlight just for stopping by. Radio Shack.
Once in a generation, a new show comes along that's so captivating, its premiere becomes a television event. This year, that show is House.
10 million in one shot. But that's what we dealt with here.
The Washington Post declares House is the best hospital show since the debut of ER.
I'm stopping the treatment.
You're risking a patient's life.
House, the series premiere, Tuesday, November 16th on Fox.
It's alive. Tell all new Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
Is dinner ready yet? This one keeps eating himself.
1 week from tonight, only on Fox.
Ty Streets gets the critical block on this play several plays ago by Eddie Drummond. Now, this was 2nd and 19 from the 4. They're able to convert this first down. That is the reason that Dallas is back. They had a chance to have great field position. Look where they're taking the ball over right now. 1st and 10 at their own 15. A big play by Eddie Drummond.
From the 15, Testaverde looking for Witten. Earl Holmes made contact.
You can see the threat that Jason Witten provides down the field. He's down the middle of the
Pass
seam.
interference. 50 of the defense. Automatic first down.
And the big part about that, that's not illegal contact or holding. Jason Witten's coming in motion. There goes Earl Holmes from the middle linebacker position. He's got to get down the field to cover that. I would have gone with illegal contact right there, and that's just a 5-yard penalty. Earl Holmes is trying to get his head back around to play the ball, but because of the PI call, it's at the spot of the foul.
So a 27-yard penalty instead. And the Cowboys get back some of that field position they lost following that catch by Reggie Swinton. from the 42. Eddie George up the middle for 2, setting up 2nd down and 8 as we check in once again with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Kenny, Dante Culpepper's 2nd turnover of the game. Tiki Barber and the Giants capitalized with that 5-yard walk to pay dirt. It is 17-0 Giants, who are looking to win in Minneapolis for the 3rd straight season. Back to Kenny and Darryl.
How prophetic does Bill Parcells sound now? He felt that Dante Culpepper, there was so much pressure on him to have those incredible performances week after week that eventually he wasn't going to be able to do it. A couple miscues by that. The Vikings are in a big hole early.
2nd down and 8. Play action. It's Witten again. His 6th catch today. And it's good for 5 yards out to the 49-yard line. Cowboys today without Terry Glenn, without Quincy Morgan. Keyshawn Johnson, 630 career receptions. Their other 3 receivers who are in uniform today, none.
Unbelievable. Randall Williams has not been active all season. Patrick Creighton and Terrence Copper elevated from the practice squad this week. So maybe, you see why Jason Witten is becoming such a featured guy this afternoon, but they have got to have some production from Keyshawn. They've got to do some things, because if you're going to be one-dimensional, eventually Detroit's going to find a way to take Jason Witten out of this game.
No completions to the wideout so far today. And this one is picked off. And Trey Bly will take it all the way. 54 yards. His 5th career touchdown, and all 5 have gone for 48 yards or more.
Vinny Testaverde, when we talked to him on Friday and we asked him about all the new wide receivers, he said it's important to know what they're going to do and can they do it consistently. Well, here's Keyshawn Johnson, a guy that he's played with for a long time, and they're on the same page. Keyshawn looks like he's going to break that route to the outside, then all of a sudden he shuts it down. That ball was already coming off Vinny Testaverde's hands. He was indecisive at the top of the route, and that's how Dre Bly was able to get that pick. If he's going to break out, he's got to continue to break out. He can't take a couple steps and then shut it down and try and hook up. Vinny's already let that ball go.
First interception thrown by Testaverde in his last 80 pass attempts.
That will be a...
Detroit only had 10 guys on their field or extra point unit. One of the big guys from inside wasn't out there. That's what happens in a sudden change situation. You've got a defensive lineman, James Hall's coming out on the field. He doesn't realize that his defense just scored a touchdown for him. He's used to going on the field for that when his offense is on the field.
Well, next week, America's #1 pregame show hits the road to broadcast live from Detroit, where the guys will break down the Battle of Pennsylvania between the Eagles and the Steelers. And you can also find out who goes 10 yards with TB. That's Fox NFL Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, next Sunday, live from Detroit on Fox. Lions have 11 men on the field this time. Hanson's extra point is good. So Dre Bly, who scored a touchdown on a fumble return against the Cowboys last season, does it again today. Lions back on top following that 55-yard interception return for a touchdown by Dre Bly. And Detroit, Darryl, has gotten a number of big plays, scoring plays from their special teams and defense, and they add another one here today.
Yeah, and the guys on the sideline right now are trying to figure out. Vinny's got to go over and talk to Keyshawn and say, what happened there? I thought you were going out, and all of a sudden you shut it down. So they've got to get that sorted out. One of the things that he talked about with the young guys is being consistent with what you're going to do. And it happens a lot. You'll see some throws from quarterbacks that are intercepted, and you're like, how did that happen? And a lot of times, it goes on the wide receiver. You can't run behind guys. If you're going to make a move, you've got to stay with that initial move, because a lot of times that ball is coming out on time.
Rashard Lee on the return for the Cowboys. Stopped just shy of the 20-yard line. 15 yards on the return. Well, Tony Siragusa had some free time yesterday, and he took the opportunity to travel around Dallas, and let's take a look at some of the places that he wound up.
Tony didn't hang out in just Dallas. He went out to Fort Worth.
Aerodynamically cut right here. Cool look, though. A little small, huh?
Way small.
Oh, this is the one.
Uh-oh. Don't go away. You have to see that.
They told me they threw that tape out.
I would not let them throw that out.
Testaverde to the outside to Richie Anderson. Gain of 7 as we check in once again with JB.
Hey, Kenny, take a look. Washington right now being hammered by Green Bay. Play action. Brett Favre hooking up with Javon Walker. Walker's 7th touchdown reception. Favre, 33rd consecutive game with the TD. And then Obafemi Ayambadejo with a 4-yard run to pay dirt. Buffalo right now narrowed. 10-7 is their lead. Arizona coming back to Kenny.
Good pronunciation, JB.
Where you going?
Excellent job. Eddie George. Still on his feet. Finally forced out of bounds at the 48-yard line, 21 yards for Eddie George.
You got to get Eddie George up into the defense and then allow him to break to the outside. He gets into the seams right there. Brock Marion comes up, doesn't have a good angle. Then Eddie George gets to the outside. That is totally different than trying to initiate the play on the perimeter. Eddie is at his strength between the tackles, being downhill, and then if he sees it to the outside, the ability to get outside and add more yards.
Looks like Mariucci was running away from him also there on the sideline. Moose.
He's smiling. He almost got hit.
Do not want any part of making the tackle. Testaverde dumping it off to Eddie George. And George close to another first down at the Lions 44. Gain of 8.
Steve Mariucci's got to find out which direction. It would have been easier for him to step off to the right. By going to his left, he almost got right in the path of Eddie George.
He had them big rookie eyes and big whites of his eyes you could see as he was running.
Here we go, Deuce.
Eddie George just looks like he's building more and more confidence as he gets the ball down here, Moose.
Whether they're going to hand it to him or dump it off to him in the passing game, I absolutely agree. He is at his best when he's up around 20 carries a game, and he's only been averaging 12 here with Dallas. He just can't get on track.
And here's George, picks up the first, and he was outspoken this week. He said, I need at least 10 to 15 touches, if not more. You mentioned he averaged 12 over the first 6 games. In Tennessee, he would average 21 carries per game.
He's the guy that he can just wear you down. He's, you know, I had a chance to play with Emmitt Smith, and you don't think of Emmitt as a big physical guy, but he was at his best in the second half. His highest yards per carry were in the fourth quarter, and that's similar to what Eddie George is. He just wears you down as the game goes on, and in the fourth quarter, because he is such a well-conditioned athlete, he is fresh, and he is able to take the 4, 5, and 6-yard runs into 12, 13, 14-yard runs.
I guess you were a better blocker in the fourth quarter. Eddie George again inside the 35.
He's got a momentum going now, Moose. He's just going to get better and better, I think. I'll tell you what, the offensive line is doing an outrageous job also of getting 2 blockers on one of the defenders. Going, pushing, and then coming off and getting another linebacker, too. They're doing a great job up front, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, right there was Al Johnson and Larry Allen on Sean Rogers, and then they do a good job of getting the movement, and then Larry moves up to the second level. So absolutely right, Tony. Not only are they controlling the down guys, but then they're getting off those slip blocks and getting up onto the linebacker level.
Second down and 3. George tackled about 1.5 yards shy by Kalimba Edwards.
That's a good play by Kalimba Edwards right there, because Eddie George got a good cut back into the middle of that defense, but by his pursuit down the line, he's able to hold Eddie George to a short gain, because there was some openings right there for Eddie George if he was able to get down here. Watch Kalimba Edwards get right down the line of scrimmage right there. That's the hustle by an athletic defensive end. As soon as he sees the flow going away, he checks that little reverse that was coming towards him to hold his pursuit. He looks back there, knows they're not going to hand the ball off on the reverse. He's right down the line of scrimmage to tackle Eddie George.
Third down at about 1.5 yards. And George is stopped. This time it was Sean Rogers with the penetration.
We asked Bill Parcells, if you could start your defense with any player, who would it be? Not a player, but a position. And he says, I want a disruptive guy. whether he's a defensive lineman inside, whether he's a pass rusher on the outside, that is the guy that he wants, and one of the guys he mentioned was Shawn Rogers right there.
Cowboys have just called timeout. They will go for it here, Darryl, on 4th down and 3.
Well, you're at that point of the field. If you try and do a field goal right here, you're looking at 52, 53 yards. That's right on the cusp of Billy Cundiff's range. He's made some 52-yarders, but it's really, you try and punt the ball here, you could kick it into the end zone, and you're really only getting 15 yards of effective field position. So in this situation, it is a roll of the dice, and we've seen them a couple times over the course of the last 2 weeks where a head coach decides on a 4th down situation to go for it. He's either going to be a genius tomorrow, or he's going to be questioned by everything, all the media in town. But this is one of the most difficult spots on the field, the 35-yard line, really 33 to 36. Your kicker should be able to make that field goal, but because of the team would get it at the spot of the kick, you're looking at the ball being taken over around the 42. You try and punt it in, and you kick it in the end zone. It comes all the way back to the 20. So a lot of things going into this decision. But Bill Parcells elects to go for it on 4th down.
This is a great opportunity for a hard count, also, Moose.
Empty backfield. Testaverde on the quarterback draw, picks up the Cowboys' 1st down.
I don't know if that was an automatic or if that was a play called in the huddle, but the Detroit Lions leave the entire center of the field open over the quarterback. Look at that void right there. They've got guys split out at the top. Everybody's thinking pass. L. Johnson gets out, gets downfield, and gets Earl Holmes. But look at this vacated area right here. There's not a defender there. They're out here in coverage on the receivers. Now, I don't know if they came out and opened that formation and told Vinny, hey, if we've seen this on film, if they leave that middle open, you just goose the center, and we're going to have enough for the 1st down.
So a huge play for the Cowboys as they convert on 4th and 3. Pump fake. Testaverde to the outside, and the catch is made by the fullback, Darian Barnes.
Well, Bill Parcells mentioned that he may have mismanaged the game. Here's some 4th down opportunities earlier this season that have gone the other way. Darian Barnes, that was a critical one right there against the Giants, Week 5. There's a 3rd and 13 situation late in the game against Pittsburgh, right near the 2-minute warning, where they had the turnover when they had the game in hand. So, you know, he has been aggressive in some of his play calling and some of his decision making, and it's sometimes more than not has gone against him this season.
Anderson shifting into the backfield on 2nd and 9, takes the handoff from Testaverde, and is met by the former Arizona Cardinal Marcus Bell, who lost his helmet but made the tackle. And that will take us down to the 2-minute warning, with the Cowboys on the move, trailing by a touchdown. 3rd down and 8 coming up here in Dallas.
Fox NFL Sunday.
The Detroit Lions perfect on the road, 3-0 this season. Dallas Cowboys looking to end a 3-game losing streak, and the go-ahead touchdown scored by the Lions defense, a 55-yard interception return by Dre Bly.
Some stay-at-home moms sneaking out to the game today. Hopefully Dad's back home watching the kids. He's going to get a taste of what it's like to be gone on a Sunday afternoon.
Probably watching the game. 3rd down and 8. Testaverde complete. Keyshawn Johnson, touchdown.
That's why you brought Keyshawn Johnson in this season. He's a big physical guy. This ball is thrown into coverage. You got a slant on with your Bracey Walker goes for the big hit instead of the tackle and just bounces off Keyshawn Johnson. And look where he goes to. What a great job by Keyshawn all the way across the board. The touchdown and the generosity at the end.
The first catch by a Cowboys wide receiver today. And for Keyshawn Johnson, his 3rd touchdown this season. Remember, Keyshawn, the intended receiver on that Dre Bly interception. This time, he takes it into the end zone. We are tied. Cowboys fans on their feet. Vinny Testaverde, 26-yard touchdown pass to Keyshawn Johnson to tie this game at 14.
Big drive by the Dallas Cowboys right there, keyed by that 4th down call by Bill Parcells. Found something in the scouting with the Detroit Lions. Left that middle of the field open, just a quarterback sneak on a 4th and 4.
So the 2 Cowboys touchdown drives, 15 plays and 11 plays. And Drummond does not take it out. So a good kick by Cundiff. It's only the 2nd time this season that a Cundiff kickoff has not been brought out of the end zone.
He caught a little bit of Bill Parcells' ire this week with his short kickoffs at Green Bay.
Well, Darryl, this February, Fox takes center stage with 2 of sports' biggest events, the Daytona 500 and Super Bowl 39. Sports' greatest moments continue to unfold this February, only on Fox.
Congratulations to Fox, also the World Series. What a great job all the way through there. Some great games. Unbelievable that the Red Sox swept the Cardinals.
Bill Parcells, a big Red Sox fan.
Surprised to hear that.
Although he is
Dick Duran, also defensive coordinator for the Lions.
Parcells, good friends with Tony La Russa, but a Red Sox fan as a youngster. Harrington to the outside to the tight end Fitzsimmons. And there is a flag. Remember, the Lions have only 1 timeout left. They were forced to waste one on that extra point earlier in this quarter, and Harrington called one earlier, so Detroit with only 1 timeout.
Personal foul. 33 the defense. Unnecessary roughness. Hitting out of bounds. 15-yard penalty automatic. First down.
It's Nathan Jones, the rookie 7th-round draft pick out of Rutgers, who costs the Cowboys 15 yards.
You just got to play smart. He's all the way out on the white. He's got his head down. He doesn't even see it, but that's such an easy call by the officials. You got to play smart. You get a chance to be out on the field as a young guy, and the one thing that will drive any head coach crazy are plays like that. I mean, you've got the completion. You're in a critical situation of the game, a minute 46. They're in the hurry-up situation. You've just scored to tie the game, and you tack on another 15 with a silly play.
Jones in for the injured Tyrone Williams. From the 44, Harrington overthrows Ty Streets, the intended receiver.
It's a good thing he overthrew that ball, because Ty was about ready to get another shot, this time from Lynn Scott. They're serving him up out there on those slant routes.
He was wide open on that one, Moose. Looked like Ty Streets knew it was coming, too.
Hey, that's the effect that a hit like Roy Williams put on him earlier in the game. They're affectionately known as alligator arms by guys who like to kid the wide receivers.
If you're a receiver like that, do you go to Joey Harrington and say, hey, listen, man, don't lead me so much?
Yeah, well, you know, he's doing what he can do. You know, he's got to put the ball in certain spots, but you also have to go up and make the catch. But you're going to have that in the back of your mind when you get hit like that.
Damian Woody, the Lions' right guard, remains down.
This would be another critical loss to the Detroit Lions this afternoon. He is probably their most consistent guy up front in the offensive line, and they can ill afford to lose him for any part of this game.
Lions charged with their final timeout of the half.
Well, Roy Williams has been frustrated all season. He just, you know, he doesn't feel he's got the production. You see there, I mean, he's flying over top of guys. He's off his feet when he makes contact with Sean Bryson. And the one thing that I've seen from him today, he's having fun. He's enjoying the game today. And having talked to him on Friday and seen the frustration on his face sitting on the bench last week at Green Bay, he is trying to create a spark out there for the defense.
Well, Roy Williams, we saw Roy flying around just a moment ago. Tony was flying around yesterday. Let's take a look back.
Don't get him mad here, please.
No, it's fine.
All right. Are you ready?
Very graceful in the balls, though. Not as easy
as football, man. Hey, somebody put Vaseline on that harness there, man. My hands slip right out of that thing.
Let's go somewhere else.
I have a lot more respect for Cowboys, I'll tell you what. I'm still sore today. I feel like Monday when I used to play ball. I'm sore as heck.
I tell you, to see it when he came off of it, the thing that scared me the first time was it looked like it was coming right through the camera into your lap in the living room. But that is not an easy thing. I've been on one of those things. The worst thing to do is stay on it, because that guy gets mad and turns up the speed a little bit on you.
Folks, do not try that at home. Harrington on 3rd down and 8, intended for David Kirkus, and the Lions send out the punting unit. Well, in case you missed it the first time.
All right, enough.
That's the test ball, just to see if it's enough cushion there. This one is coming right into your living room.
Speaking of football, man, the hell with this.
Good job, Tony. Here's Lance Frazier, rookie from West Virginia. He breaks free. One man to beat. It's the punter, Harris. And Harris makes the tackle inside the 30.
I've seen Detroit do things today that I have not seen them do all season long. Lance Frazier right up the middle. Jody Littleton right there, an opportunity to make a tackle for a 5-yard return. Lance Frazier breaks the tackle. The hustle by the Lions. Here they all come. They're in pursuit. You give them that. But the Dallas special teams, finally the offense is on a short field.
A 55-yard punt return by Frazier, who was signed earlier this month from the Ravens practice squad. Cowboys with 2 timeouts from the 28. Testaverde to a wide open Darian Barnes down to the 23-yard line, gain of 5. 2nd and 5 coming up. Also coming up, the Visa halftime report with JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. They'll bring you scores and highlights from around the National Football League and the Fox Sports ticker with up to the second scores and stats. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report. So the 55-yard punt return by the rookie Frazier, setting up the Cowboys in Lions territory from the 23. Eddie George, gain of just 1. Shawn Rogers again in on the tackle.
Last week against the New York Giants, the Detroit Lions made a big stop going in at halftime. When they intercepted a pass in the end zone, they were able to feel to kind of feed off that momentum coming out in the 3rd quarter, went down the field, scored a touchdown, took the lead. This would be a huge job for them this afternoon to hold Dallas to a field goal in this position, just going down 17-14. The flip side of that, Dallas can really create some doubt by getting 7 right here instead of kicking that field goal.
3rd down and 4 from trickery from Bill Parcells. The end around, and Randall Williams picks up the 1st down.
We saw Kalimba Edwards go down, but he checked. This time, James Hall just goes down. Look at the pursuit. He didn't check the receiver coming around on the reverse play. His responsibility on that is boot and reverse. Watch him right here. He's going to come down and go straight down the line. He's got contain on the outside. His job is to watch for the boot and the reverse coming that way.
He knew it right there, Moose. He messed up, didn't he?
He got about 3 yards down the line of scrimmage and did a 180.
Gain of 13 for Randall Williams. Bill Parcells told us on Friday this guy's been a Cowboy for 4 years. It's time for him to show us what he can do.
Well, they had some guys step up. They've had guys that they had some questions about step up. Lance Frazier, the big punt return. Randall Williams, a big play on the reverse right there. So guys that Bill Parcells wanted to find out what they were going to do have stepped up and responded to the challenge.
21 seconds remaining in the half. Cowboys with 1 timeout. 1st and goal from the 9. Picked off by Brock Marion. Wow. So for the 2nd straight week, the Lions defense comes up with an interception in the red zone just prior to halftime, and this time it's the former Cowboy Brock Marion.
I don't know how he doesn't see him. He just shifts over. There's a lot of people there. Brock Marion steps right in front of the pass. Vinny Testaverde had only 3 interceptions coming into the game. They all came in one game against Cleveland, and it just seems like he's into that thing again. when it goes bad, it goes bad. I'll put the first one on Keyshawn. I still feel that was Keyshawn's responsibility.
Sportsmanlike conduct. 31 and 22 of the intercepting team. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Detroit.
So Brock Marion caught celebrating. He spent 5 years here in Dallas. Won 2 Super Bowls as a teammate of yours with the Cowboys. And those 3 interceptions Vinny had thrown prior to today, not only in the same game against Cleveland, but on 3 consecutive drives.
That is a huge one right there. I mean, you've got points. You just had the big reverse to get down in the part of the field. 21 seconds, 1 timeout left. I mean, you've got opportunities to go to the end zone. They try and hit that slant. And I don't know if Vinny just lost sight of Brock as everybody was moving, but he was right in his line of vision.
And now the Lions will run out the clock and head into the locker room at halftime, tied at 14. So the Cowboys blow a huge opportunity late in the first half as Testaverde is intercepted for the second time today.
It's going to be interesting to see the response coming out at halftime. Who's able to pick each team up?
So we are tied at 14. The Visa halftime report up next.